Alright guys, so I'm going to start this video by talking about a personal story that happened to me. This happened about 6 months ago, and it really left an impression on me at the time. And I want to retell it because it forms so much of my beliefs now. So this happened, like I say, about 6 months ago, so it was about September time. And, prior to this, I'd gone through a bit of a phase of trying to approach women in public, in kind of clubs or pubs or bars and stuff like this. I'd gone through a phase of sort of trying to, basically chat women up and like approach them, get their numbers, and like, in theory, like go on a date with them eventually. Like, it's a cold approaching. I've made this a focus for a long while, but after a while, I began to feel like it wasn't really doing anything. I began to feel like it was a bit of a waste of time. So I stopped doing it, basically. Long story short. And so anyway, got to this day, about 6 months ago, and it was just after I'd moved to London. So I met up with a friend who also lived in London, and I got the tube down to his house. So he lived in Hampstead Heath. And we went for a wild swim, like Hampstead Heath. They have these ponds where you can go for like a cold swim, and we're both quite into that kind of stuff. So yeah, went on a wild swim, and yeah, it was really nice. It was very cold water. So we got out, we felt amazing, and went on a walk around the park. Saw all this beautiful nature. And then in the evening, we went to a pub to get some food. Like, we were both quite hungry. And it was just like a good day, like, good endorphins from the walk and the cold swim. And, we went to this nice pub. Like, if you've ever been to London or like you live in London, you'll know like these kind of pubs you have in kind of, they're pubs, like they have the kind of normal pub aesthetic, but they're just really like, it sounds weird, but like really clean and really sleek. So it was one of these kind of swanky pubs. And we went outside, there was a nice kind of outdoor area. And, I didn't have much money at the time, it was a bit expensive, but I just thought, fuck it, let's get a nice meal. And so we sat down outside, sun was shining, we were both feeling good, like having deep conversations. And as this was happening, I had noticed this girl who was a waitress at this pub, and she was like kind of sort of medium height, blonde hair, very pretty, and quite sort of had like a real kind of graceful air to her. Like, the way she was dressed, she had a nice body. There was just something about her that was just really beautiful. And it's funny because I think there's a difference between like just seeing a beautiful, like a hot girl, If you're a guy, you'll know this. There's a difference between just seeing like a hot girl and thinking, oh, she's fit, and seeing like a girl that just opens you up. It almost becomes like a kind of spiritual experience. And it doesn't happen very often, this. But most people will have this experience, every now and again, where they just see a girl that just really opens them up. And they're like, what? They're not just attracted to them, they're speechless. And this was this kind of experience. There was just something about this girl that I just thought was just, she was just unbelievably beautiful to me. And, like I say, I'd gone through this period of doing cold approaching and starting to think it was a bit of a waste of time. But I started to get this voice inside my head that was just saying, like, you've got to approach her. Like, this is going to be your only chance to see this girl, and go over there and talk to her. It's not like you're going to bump into her at work, or you're gonna find her on Hinge or something like this. You know, you don't live in this neighborhood. You're not gonna come here all the time. This is your only chance, realistically, to approach her. And this is me talking to myself. Like I said, I can know that you thought cold approaching was a bit of a waste of time, but this is like you should go and talk to her, man. This is what I was saying to myself, right? And I was absolutely petrified to talk to her. You know, like I say, I hadn't approached a girl for like several months now, and like you'll know this if you cold approached girls, like the first one in a while is like very nerve wracking, but once you get in the habit of it, it starts becoming so nerve wracking. But I hadn't done this in ages, so I was absolutely terrified to go up to her. And I remember, I resolved with myself, like, yeah, I'm going to go over and speak to her. And I got this massive rush of adrenaline going through me. Like it was quite intense, because I was so nervous about talking to her. And anyway, I was being quite indecisive. I was like, yeah, I should speak to her, but I was kind of dancing around whether I should or not. And eventually, I decided, like, I think we were getting, like, at this point we'd already eaten our meal, and we were getting ready to leave. And there was still nagging voice in my head that was like, go over and speak to her. And she was busy. Like, it wasn't like she was standing around. Like, she was on shifts. She was, running around, handing out cutlery. There wasn't really a good opportunity to stop and talk to her. But it was just one of those situations where I was like, I just felt this real desire to go over and speak to her. I just thought I had to find a way. And anyway, we finished our meal, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna walk out, and if I see her, I'll go over there and talk to her. And anyway, we finished our meal, and we were walking out, and I saw her. I walked past her, and I didn't go over and speak to her. I left the pub and went home, and that was that. And I was so annoyed at myself that I hadn't managed to go over and talk to her, And I just thought I'd really let myself down, that I hadn't set myself up to be able to go over and talk to her. I hadn't given myself that skill. And like, yeah, maybe I'll go back to that pub in the future or whatever, but realistically, that was my only chance. And I didn't take it. I hadn't built up the courage in myself, the confidence in myself to walk over there and do that. And it's so funny because, like, a lot of the time with cold approaching, you think, whatever, like, does it really matter? But in that situation, I was like, if the same thing happens again, where I see a girl, where I get the same kind of reaction of like, this is the one kind of thing. Like, I want to be able to go over and speak to her, I don't want to let myself down like that. And this is what brought me slowly back into the habit of approaching women, going and talking to women. Like, I realised that you've just got to be able to do it. Like, it's so bad for you if you can't. And so, this is just my personal experience, this is what compels me. But I just think if you can't go over there and talk to someone that you're attracted to, do you have any idea what that does to your sense of self-worth, you know, your sense of your ability to kind of make stuff happen in the world. Like you can't even listen to one of the most core feelings inside of you, which is to go and talk to a girl you're attracted to. It's an awful feeling to feel that, and you know, maybe it takes an experience like that to really recognize how much damage it's doing to you, how much you're missing out on if you're not prepared to go over and talk to a girl that you find attractive. And you know, people often say like, "Oh, don't. It's costing you $1 million not to know how to be a millionaire." You know, that's the kind of phrase that people often use, which is, you know, has its limitations, but it is definitely a good point. But I think the same thing can be said true here. Like, you don't know how many girls you're turning down by not having the courage to go over and talk to a girl when you're interested in her. You know? So this is why I say it's so important to be able to talk, to like get in the habit of just approaching women. And I think young guys should make it a daily habit to talk to women every day. Like, because realistically, when you're out in public, you'll see a woman you're attracted to, you know, almost every time. You know, provided you don't live in like a village or a hamlet or something. If you live in a town, you know, you'll find someone that you're reasonably attracted to. Like, you know, it might not be the love of your life, but I just think there are so many times we as guys, like, we walk past someone that we're attracted to and we don't do anything about it. You know, we just kind of swallow our desire, and it's such a bad thing to do. So you want to get in the habit of being able to talk to girls that you're attracted to. I'm not saying every cold approach that you're going to have is going to be like that experience I just described, where it's going to be a girl where you really think, you know, it's really special. But you want to be able to do it so that, you know, with anyone, frankly, so that when that opportunity comes to talk to a girl that you really are attracted to, you don't even think about it. You can just go and do it, and it's fine. It's normal. So yeah, if you haven't already, make approaching women like a part of your life, and don't do it because it's necessarily going to get you more, you know, better dating life or whatever. Like, you know, because you're necessarily going to go and date these girls and you know, get into a relationship with them. Frankly, dating apps, you know, are more efficient for that. But you want to be able to get in the habit of doing it, because you never know when you're going to need to. You know, you're never going to know when you're going to see a girl that you know, you're going to be like, oh fuck. You know, just randomly, you're going to be like, fuck, this is my only chance to show my interest to this girl. Now's the time. You know, you don't know when that's going to happen. So you want to be able to do it. You want to be able to practice it. And the increase in confidence you will get from talking to a girl every day who you don't know, just approach, it's like nothing else. You know, it's beyond the confidence you get from good posture. It's beyond the confidence you get from going to the gym, or you know, like having a good physique or making money. You know, the confidence you get from being able to discipline yourself to go and talk to someone that you're attracted to and face what has become like one of the biggest fears. You know, to face rejection of a woman, and you know, to have the balls to go up and do that. It is what is one of the most profound feelings of confidence you'll get. Frankly, if that's the only thing you did, you know, you would feel amazing, you know, for the rest of the day, you know, if you just get in the habit of doing that. So yeah, and the other thing is, a lot of guys have like limiting beliefs about themselves regarding girls. You know, they think they're not good enough. You know, they had some bad experiences that, you know, that goes back to their childhood, or that goes back to, you know, dating girls when they were younger or whatever. You know, I've been through that rabbit hole, man. Trust me, like I've done so much journaling about all that stuff, and, you know, walking in the park and talking to you know, into my phone, like journaling past experiences. And, you know, I'm not saying it's totally invaluable, like it's totally worthless to do all that stuff. Like, there is some credit in doing that, but compared to going and talking to a girl, it's does fuck all. Like, honestly, if you want to reprogram your brain, if you've had some bad experiences with girls in the past, or you have a bad self-image of yourself, you know, just go and talk to a girl. That will reprogram your brain more than any visualization can do, more than any journaling session can do, you know, more than, I hope I'm not speaking out of place, but in my estimation, it's more than therapy, more than podcast, you know, all that bollocks. Going and speaking to a girl who you're attracted to in public will reprogram your brain from bad experiences more than anything else. You know, take it from someone who's been there. And you'll be in a situation where you see a girl that you're attracted to, and your brain will tell you everything about why you shouldn't go over there, you know. But that's exactly why you should. You know, it's the one thing that you'll realize it after you do it. You're like, you'll be terrified, you know, and then you'll go over and walk over, and you'll speak to her, and you just feel like a completely different person afterwards. Yeah, it's such a good thing to do, you know, like, and I've just got it as like a daily habit of mine to do now. Like, I have it on my habit tracker. In fact, I'll show you, just so you believe me. Like, honestly, right here, you know, I've got time I'm meant to be up in the morning, cold exposure, exercise, record a video, call a friend, no fap, cold approach, and then not look at my phone before bed. It's just I've made like a daily habit, like meditating, like taking a cold shower, because that's the only way that like is that as valuable as all those things, if not easily more valuable. And yeah, like, you know, I was in the gym earlier today, and I just thought, like, you know, I just saw a girl that, you know, caught my eye. You know, I wasn't blown away. You know, like I'm saying, it doesn't have to be something crazy, but I did think, yeah, she's attractive. She's an attractive girl. And I was in the middle of a workout I was doing. I was actually doing Hamza's like Adonis workout. If you know the self-improvement YouTuber Hamza, he has this kind of very fast-paced workout that he recommends people to do. And I was in the middle of like a set of burpees, and I just saw she was she got off the exercise machine that she was using, and I just said, I'll finish this set and then I'll go over and speak to her. And then there's a little bit of my voice that was in my head that was like, what do you mean? Like, and it's a bit like letter of the law. It's like spirit of the law over the letter of the law. I was like, do you really think one set of burpees is more important than just going over and speaking to her? You know, just do it now, man, and then just finish the set later. And so that's what it is. Like, I was on about 6 burpees, and I just stopped. I just went over to her and I just said, excuse me, really sorry to interrupt. I just thought you were really pretty. I was wondering if I could get your number. And she smiled. That's the first thing she did. She smiled. And she said, oh, I'm really sorry, I have boyfriends. I said, oh, yeah, no problem. Have a nice day. And I walked off. And, you know, and she smiled at me while I walked off. And, you know, it was an altogether a nice experience. You know, I dare say for both of us, you know. But I went back to that set with such a renewed vigour and happiness. And it's so worthwhile. Like, because it's so funny. Like in these places, in these times where you'll see girls that you're attracted to, that you want to talk to, it's very easy to sort of cope. Like in the gym, for example, it's very easy to just go, you know, I would go over, but I'm halfway through a set, so I'm not going to bother, you know. But you just got to say to yourself, like, bullshit, your one stupid set is more important than going over and talking to a girl. Like, who cares? Sod it, you know. Like, it's you can take the gym too seriously, you know. I think you need to exercise, but more time, you know, is a crutch when you say something like that. It's like, are you that focused really that you can't go and talk to a girl while you're exercising? You know, just stop for literally 1 minute, go over and talk to her, and then get straight back to it. You know, like guys will just spend 5 minutes on their phone while they're at the gym, but they won't go over and talk to a girl because it's I'm focused on this. You know, you got to watch out for that. Like, your brain will just give you so many reasons to cope with this kind of stuff. Or like you'll be like, if you're at uni or you know, at school or whatever, you're studying for something, and you see a girl you're attracted to in the library. It's so easy to go, I would go over there, but I'm studying. You know, I'm really focused on this. I need to get this done. Bullshit. You need to get that done. You know, like you spent let's be honest. You probably spent half an hour on Instagram before you even started work. You can spend half an hour on Instagram, something that you know is bad for you, but you can't, you know, for half an hour, you can't spend 1 minute, literally 1 minute, that's all it takes. Just go over and talk to a girl and then get back to your work. You know, bullshit, you don't have time to do that. So really look out for that sort of coping in yourself. And, you know, obviously I've whistled on a lot, guys, but I just want to leave you with a few sort of practical tips. So, and kind of bits of advice. Because the one thing that I think is important is you want to be able to build it into your routine, this kind of thing. So I would say you want to approach a girl every day. I think the best place to do it, realistically, for most guys, if you're, you know, you're on self-improvement, you know, you go to the gym, stuff like that. The gym's the best place. Like, if you ever read the book Atomic Habits, it talks about habit stacking. So you do habits that are convenient to do together. So let's say, I'm trying to think of an example that he uses. Like, let's say you want to read, get into the habit of reading, and you want to get into the habit of meditating. Well, you can just stack those habits together. So you wake up and you just have 20 minutes of reading and then 20 minutes of meditating, you know, because you're already sat down at your desk. So you just find times where it's convenient to do habits together. And this is a great example of where you can habit stack, because let's be honest, like a lot of like girls spend time at the gym, you know, and if you're a guy, you know, maybe you've got a guy friend group, maybe you know, you don't really, like if you're on self-improvement, you know, maybe you don't go out as much, which is, you know, you don't necessarily come into contact with girls all the time. The gym is a great place to do it, because you will meet girls at the gym, and you don't have to get dressed and go out in the evening to meet girls, or, you know, you don't have to go to some like specific areas to do it. You know, you're going to go to the gym anyway, so you can do it there, and you will meet girls there. And so yeah, just get in the habit of just going up to a girl in the gym every day that you see that's attractive, and just habit stack it, basically. And another thing that I'll say is that I've hinted at already is, obviously it is extremely nerve-wracking thing to do. And your brain will generate lots of excuses as to why you shouldn't do it. And basically you just got to realise that all those excuses you don't really care about. You know, like, you don't really care about the set that you're doing, so you can't go over and approach her. You know, oh, I'm bothering her. okay, like if you follow her around the gym, and you're like staring at her, yeah, you're bothering her, but to take out 1 minute of her time to compliment her because she's beautiful, and to ask for a number, realistically, that's not bothering her, um, like, yeah, if she tells you to fuck off, just fuck off, but you're allowed to go over there and take up 1 minute of her time to compliment her. Yeah, be a gentleman. Obviously, be a gentleman. Be polite. You don't have to stroll over like some big, alpha male or whatever. But you're allowed to compliment a girl and, ask her on a date like that. That's fine. Get a grip. And it's funny because some things you can kind of progressive overload. Like, meditation. You can start meditating with a very small amount of time and build up. Going to the gym, obviously you progress overload at the gym. But I think talking to girls, that is kind of something you just got to do. You just got to bite the bullet and do it. Some things you just got to bite the bullet and do it. And you can't really progressive overloads talking to girls. So just one thing I'd say for your expectations with approaching women is just hold your breath and just do it, basically. There's no other way, really, to do it. And I just think if you get in the habit of doing this, you'll be in such an elite group of people. And, it's so funny, like I remember in like third year, when I started doing this initially, and I went around, like I was going out clubbing with friends or whatever, and we'd go to bars and stuff, and there'd be a attractive girl like serving drinks and stuff, and I'd go over and talk to her, and people would be stunned. My friends would be like, wow, I wouldn't have the balls to do that. It's such a sought after thing. It's such a gift to be able to do this. So worthwhile to be able to have the courage just to go over and talk to a girl like that. So, recognize how valuable it is to have this. So many guys are just, and trust me, I've been there myself so much. But so many guys are just pussies, that they don't have the balls to just say to a girl, look, I like you. I think you're beautiful. Like, I want to go on a date with you. I remember when I was younger, like some girls I just sort of get stuck in the friend zone with, because I wouldn't have the balls to just say that, just to be saying, look, I don't really care about being a friend. You're a nice girl, but frankly, I just want to date you, basically. And it's such an awful thing not to be able to just say that to a girl. Because we're meant to be able to say that. And if you can, like, you'll just thank yourself for it later on. And yeah, it's an extremely powerful habit. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure. If you have made it this far and you're interested in improving, your dating life, you want to get into the habit of cold approaching girls, you want to have someone to hold you accountable, book a free call with me. Just send me a message. We can talk through your goals, what you want out of it, and then we can go from there. I can hold you accountable. I can tell you a bit more of my own experiences and help you through it, help teach you what I've learned already. It'd be really great to hear from you. Like I said, just send me a message. But apart from that, guys, it's been a real pleasure. See you in the next one.